The bill states that its purpose is to provide for the expropriation of property for a public purpose or in the public interest. So South Africans should be skeptical. Because what was wrong with the last one? I'm concerned with the vagueness of public interest, the most direct route to socialism. The power of the individual could be out of hand before you know it. People need to be protected by the government while simultaneously protecting themselves from the government. Where private property like land is concentrated within the state. Many might rightfully say that I am an ideologue. Besides whether the South African president was inspired by Donald Trump, the first thing I asked myself when the president signed an expropriation bill replacing the Expropriation Act of 1975 is what was wrong with the last one. The standout differences are the words public interest and public purpose. The old Apartheid Act made use of public projects to expropriate property from black South Africans under the guise of public purpose. The new bill makes use of the words public interest and public purpose, which leaves room for societal redress through the bill. And like the DA and the VF have stated, it also leaves room for the arbitrariness of the government, which we will discuss shortly. The bill states that its purpose is to provide for the expropriation of property for a public purpose or in the public interest, to provide for certain instances where expropriation with nil compensation may be appropriate in the public interest, and to provide for matters connected.
Yeah. What difference is this bill being signed into law actually going to make in the bigger scheme of things? Is it really going to advance the expropriation of land and land reform?
Yes, it is going to do so. You will recall that we had steps towards expropriation without compensation. So this bill in the main will firstly align with the democratic constitution so that all the things that were not provided for are provided for in this particular bill. Secondly, it covers issues of public interest beyond just public purpose, because public purpose in apartheid was about bulldozing infrastructure where they needed land. Now, public interest include issues of land reform, include issues of looking at natural resources and other issues of transformation in the main.
Now, I'll take the same skepticism directed at the apartheid government and give it to the ANC government. Because if black people were skeptical of the meaning of public purpose from an apartheid government, then I'm skeptical of the meaning of public interest from a wannabe socialist government wanting to pursue things like the NTR.
And in the main, the African National Congress is the one organization that has championed all these key objectives over decades and decades since its formation. The change that is envisaged by the National Democratic Revolution, and which is also encapsulated in the Freedom Charter and the Constitution of our Republic, represents the best in human civilization, where no one is left behind.
Which is a Marxist-Leninist strategy which the SACP describes as the most direct route to socialism. Socialism being a transitional social system between capitalism, where private property like land is concentrated within the state. Therefore, along with the likes of Peter Groenewald, I am concerned with the vagueness of public interest, because they are up to the interpretation of this type of government. A government whose forebearers were clearer and more explicit about the NTR, Ramaphosa speaks so fondly about. As Joe Slovo writes, the NTR seeks to eliminate the legacy of colonialism and apartheid through the national liberation of the African majority and the democratic restructuring of society. It aims to lay the basis for advancing towards a socialist transformation by resolving the historically imposed contradictions of race and class. Many might rightfully say that I am an ideologue, but my skepticism of state power is based on the fact that the citizen's relationship with the government is a balancing act. People need to be protected by the government while simultaneously protecting themselves from the government. So South Africans should be skeptical. This ship is moving into treacherous waters. Socialists believe in phases, and the power of the individual could be out of hand before you know it.
So we think that this is a good start, but however, our final journey as the African National Congress has resolved in our successive conferences is to ensure that we actually change the Section 25 of the Constitution. Yeah. And we're not yet there. We're hoping that with the emergence of the parties like MK, EFF and other progressive parties, we will jointly work together on modalities so that we can go there as a second step.
The
but for
EFF
now,
offered you that.